You're not looking at things as you should look at it.
Right.
And while I'm on that subject, I want to say something about the nature of things. Parents, we are working hard. Most parents are working so hard, we are not watching as we should. You can't watch every minute of every hour of every day. But when our children get to a certain age, parents, they are being upset by the bombardment of a crazed world that is sex mad, run by scientists of evil freaks.
That's right. Teach Warn.
You don't know what you're doing when you sit your children down hour after hour in front of a television and you go off with your foolishness, partying, leaving your babies to be manipulated by the madness of that television.
Yes, sir.
Children 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, girls developed. You know this. Their bodies are the bodies of women, though their heads are the heads of children. You say, well, she's only 12. Oh, that's my boy. He's only 12. What does that mean? 12 today is like 34 yesterday.
Yes, sir. Right.
What I'm suggesting, parents, look. These are our children. We can't throw them away if they make mistakes. But children, in the development of their nature, need management over their affairs. They are not qualified, neither are older ones of us qualified to manage nature. Have you ever seen a storm? Try to manage a tornado. They can't manage that.
That's right.
You may be able to predict, but you can't manage.
That's right. That's exactly.
Nature, this that God put in us, man, this is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
We got a law in Islam. We don't commit fornication. We don't commit adultery. Stop right there. I'm off my subject now, but really I'm on my subject.
Yes, you are.
That law almost becomes a joke. Because there's another law working. Fornication ruins the future of young people. You learn about your sexuality and naturally you want to experiment. That's natural. And that's why in Islam we don't have the too free intermingling of the sexes, because when you keep putting them together like that, as they grow, they're going to start experimentation. You can't blame them for that. They want to find out what this urge is that I have. Parents don't want to talk about sex. Oh, no. No. That's right. Can't talk about that. You don't need no book to teach you about sex.
That's right.
Nature teaches you. Dogs don't have a book that they study.
That's right.
They don't have no snake book, no bird book, no bee book, but all kind. Every time you look around, there's another bird, another bee. And you ain't got to teach people about sex. Nature got it all down pat. Certain things you learn. But parents got to talk to your children.
Yes,
Well, we can't talk about that. Why not? That's how they got here.
That's right. That's right.
Why you can't talk about it? We got to face reality here. Sex is real. It ain't something that the devil did. It's what God has decreed.
Yes, sir.
When boys and girls get to a certain age, they're naturally attracted to one another. That you'll never stop. You can keep them shut up in a room all day long, blacking out the windows. Never let them see a TV. But they'll know that nature is driving them toward the opposite. And when they pierce them walls, you got trouble on your hands. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us in the history of Mary and Joseph. They were childhood sweethearts. They loved each other from childhood, and that happens. But the father didn't want Joseph when he was old enough to marry Mary. So he went on and got married. But the woman that he married and had children for, he loved her. But that woman that he was denied was like the mate of his soul. You can understand that, can't you? Somehow they met. I'll go into the details at another time. And the law at that time was any male or female committing fornication or adultery, the law is you're stoned to death. Why? We protect the home. Because if you don't protect the home, you're not protecting civilization. So the law that God sent down through Moses is a very stern, a very strict law. If you come in my home after my wife, or I come in your home after your wife, I got to pay with my life for that. But when you leave two people alone in a room and they love each other, why tell them about the law of fornication? That just happened. Because two people in love with each other, a higher law kicks in. Nature's law. They love each other. They're attracted to each other. Yes, you said, thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not. Very nice of you. But when you say thou shalt not, then you should be in the room. Then you know thou wilt not. Keep the lights on. And if you see the lights go down, move on in.
That's right.
But when you so busy with your mates, your frustrations, till you allow your daughters and your sons the freedom to do and the time to play, and your attention is gone in another direction than two young people that are experimenting with nature. They don't even have to love each other. They just have to be curious. And since by nature we are born curious, then you leave them to experiment, and the result is pregnancy or unwanted pregnancy, then abortion, or a baby is born, but there's no compatibility there with the person who is the father of that child, and the young child has to suffer now through that. But good can come out of that. You don't have to worry about it. Good, God makes good come out of whatever you think is wrong. God will bring good out of it if you have the right attitude toward it. You should never destroy your children because they made a mistake. Embrace them. But they have to learn now the hard way. What am I saying? The law of nature is bigger than a commandment. And if you want the law to be respected, then good manners will protect good morals. You do not leave a boy and a girl alone together in any room for any amount of time. When I first became a Muslim, my teacher was Malcolm X, and he said, an egg is hard boiled at 3 minutes. So I took that to mean something. Better keep these males and these females away from each other in any of those uncontrolled circumstances if you want them to come out of this thing right. And if your child makes a mistake, let me just say this, it ain't because they're bad. Your children are not bad. The world is bad. And we are not watching as we should. That's why every Muslim is given the general order. Take charge of this post in all temple property in view. Then walk your post in a perfect manner, keeping always on the alert. Why? Why? Because if you're not alert, something will come up. Now let me get back and finish my subject. There's a brother that got married. I hope he won't mind I'm not going to mention his name, but he married a sister that had a son already. He loved the son, took the son to be his own. The son was named after his father. The mother and the father didn't get along. They divorced. She married this other brother, and the brother has been very kind to the mother and kind to the son. But the father of the little boy has been a good father in that he keeps sending money to look after his son. And he felt offended because the new father changed his name, gave him a Muslim name, and took that man's name away. And the man was very upset and got real funny. So when I was called, the man wanted to see his son. So the grandmother wanted to see her grandson. I said, brother, that's the father. Because the mother fell out with the father, that doesn't mean that the father doesn't have rights.
That's right, yes, sir.
That is that man's seed. But I love him like he's mine. I said, that's to your credit. Then you and the father sit down like brothers and collaborate on the raising of that boy. I said, go take him to his father and let his father see him. Take him to his grandmother, let the grandmother see him.
That's right.
And I say this to any man that's fathering somebody else's seed. Don't ever try to compete with the biological father. Just respect the biological father. Make the child respect the biological father. And do good by the child. And the child will automatically love you. But don't try to force the biological father out of the picture. Do as you would like people to do unto you, and Allah will really bless you. Why do we keep... Okay, I answered that. Yeah, so I told him, look, you gave him a Muslim name. I said, you use the two names. Use the name that the father gave him. Use the name that you give him. And when the father becomes a Muslim, he'll thank you for giving him a Muslim name. But, you know, we get so extreme. Islam is a way of peace. It's not a way of confusion. May Allah bless you. In the natural course of things, whenever you are growing into independent thinking, you begin to clash with the thinking that you once fed from. And that's why in the natural growth and development in our homes, When our young people get to a certain age, mothers and fathers, you must stop a dictatorial kind of rule over your children. Your children will start rebelling against your loving dictatorship, even though you would say, I did everything I could. I tried to be a good mother. I tried. But here's where you fail. You don't know when the process of reasoning with your children begins and the process of dictation stops. You look at a young man and a young woman, if you've taught them properly, you're teaching them the principles of logic and reasoning. Sometimes you have to be firm, because when children want their way, it's interesting how they can form a logic to defend madness. Are you all right? Boy, you should not smoke them reefers. Oh, Ma, please. It grows out of the earth. God created it. Surely, if God created it, it must be all right. It's from God. Twisted logic to defend the indefensible. So sometimes when your mind is made up to do the wrong thing, then fathers and mothers have to exercise authority out of their love for you. They break your neck. Now, wait a minute, Farrakhan. You was doing all right. I don't like nobody brutalizing me. But when you don't respect authority, then authority feels justified in using the force necessary to bring this rebellious subject into subjection to that which it is rebelling against. Now, all rebellion is not bad. There's some rebellion that is absolutely necessary. In order to bring about change, you cannot acquiesce to that which is evil and that which is wrong. At some point, we must muster the courage to say, this is wrong, and I will stand against it. And this is what the prophets of God have always done. They have stood against wrong and unrighteous rulers, because the principle of righteousness and decency demands that we sacrifice our lives, if necessary, to bring about meaningful change that will be beneficial to all, even though a few suffer to bring it about. Let me go on and tie this up. Your parents, and as parents, you must know when and how to reason with our children. Because when they get to a certain age, the moment you start dictating, you see them harden, get a funny expression on their face, suck their teeth, or go in their room and slam the door. These are signs. I don't like the way you're handling me. It could be wrong on their part for expressing themselves in that way, but that's a sign to the parent, if you're wise, let me try another approach here, because this is leading to a confrontation, sure enough. Now, when you get to the point where you don't want to take it any longer, two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. So then your father or mother may say, well, baby, it's time for you to make it. Because as long as I'm in this house, I'm going to be the boss. Now, wait a minute. They have the right to exercise their authority. They have that right. You're not paying the rent. If you're paying the rent, then maybe you could have a voice. But if you're not paying any rent, you didn't buy no food, you didn't pay the light bill, you didn't pay the gas bill, you didn't pay the phone bill, you didn't contribute to nothing, doctor, you're in subjection. So if they tell you come in at 9, come in at 9 or get a job and get your own place, pay your own bills, and you come in when you want to. If you want to be master of your own destiny, then you got to develop something in order to be that kind of independent person. You have to develop the wherewithal to be independent. There were things in my mother's rule that I didn't like. She was a good mother, a hard-working mother, a lovely woman. But when it was time for me to make the decision to marry my wife, she didn't like my decision. Hey, I can't help that. I've grown now to think beyond your control. I love this woman. I will marry her. She said, well, I won't sign. I said, it's all right. I'll go to a state where don't have to sign. I was very respectful, but I intended to do what I had to do. That was all. She said, but I wanted to give you a nice wedding. I said, I don't need that. I don't like a house full of hypocrites around me who don't wish me no good anyway. I said, all I need is that woman and God, and I'll make it. Now my mother knew I had grown now. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but when I told her, all I need is God, I was telling her, I'm out of here. I have the real source of it all now, and that is He upon whom I will depend henceforth, now and forever. I will never be no dependent on nobody. I want to be a free man. And the only way I can be free is to come to depend on God. And Him alone should I depend and rely on. When my dear mother saw that I was determined and that nothing that she said could dissuade me from the decision that I had made, she yielded. And she grew to respect my decision. And my wife and I are still together after nearly 40 years of marriage. It's a wonderful thing, brothers and sisters, to make up your mind to do something of value and let no one sway you against what you have determined to do of good. Are you listening? Now we bring children into the world and we sit in front of the TV where we're learning stupidness. So we just sit in front of the TV and watch as the world turns. It's turning all right, Chief. And as you're watching these soap operas, you're not feeding your mind what your mind needs to help you exercise the responsibility of the authority that you have over your children. Some of you just take your children like they're pieces of meat. All right, get up, get up. Time for school, get out. You sleep. You didn't get up before your children. You didn't warm the cold house. You didn't wash their underwear or their clothes. You're too busy doing nothing. I put on them Pop-Tarts in the microwave. Who is the maker of the Pop-Tart? Have you seen their kitchen? Do you know whether the woman was scratching her back or blowing her nose while she's cooking the Pop-Tart? Don't you think nobody can look out for your children better than you? Well, why don't you get up and exercise proper authority and look out for your children? You'll pay a price for this, mother. You're not getting away. And we'll pay a price, father. We're not getting away. You just can't make babies and run. Oh, that so-and-so, she had a baby. Could be mine, I mean. Look just like you. But it could be yours. You're going to make her look like a cheap woman just to get out of paying. You don't duck your responsibility. Shaquille O'Neal had a father. The Hughley boy had a father. Father didn't pay the boy no attention. The boy become a superstar. Here come Papa. Hey, that's my son. What are you asking for when you gave nothing? You don't give your children the time of day. You don't walk with them. You don't talk with them. You don't teach them. You don't put shoes on their feet. You don't put clothes on their back. You don't put food in their stomach. But you want to be a father? Well, Farrakhan, I just have a lot of children and it's hard. Yeah, I know. Dogs have litters, it's hard. But there's always enough milk in the tit for the baby. The dog, I mean. And if there's more dogs than she has nipples, those that come first suck first, but the others come get theirs too. God provides for all of his creatures. He exercises authority with beneficence and mercy. But he gives us authority. And we run from responsibility. Now, a Negro, wait. You don't know what I'm going to say. Don't jump the gun. But a Negro coming up from slavery, who has been beaten down all his life, and the way the slave master did this thing, he gave our women more say and authority than the man. He just reversed the natural order, so our women literally take charge. It's not right, but you do it. And what do you say to justify? Well, he wasn't doing nothing, so I had to take charge. Well, even if he was trying to do something, you still want to take charge. You don't like no man having no authority over you. You don't like that. So the Bible says children are their oppressors and women rule over them. And most black men are ruled over by the women in their lives. It gets a little funny in Islam, because even if you don't know how to exercise your authority, you know you got it. But for God's sake, learn how to exercise it. Because when you try to exercise authority without reason or morality, you become an abuser of your wife. Oh, am I getting there? Yes, I am. No man should beat a woman. No man. Of course, some of these sisters today, they so bad, you better not try to beat her. Some of these sisters can throw down, brother. It's a terrible thing to see a woman beat up a man, you know what I mean? I don't know what's worse, a man trying to beat a woman and a woman really beating a man. But look at the violence that's in our houses today. The government feels they have to step in to protect the children from the parents, because oftentimes we're whipping them, but we're not only whipping them for what they did that we didn't like, but we're whipping them because we're just frustrated. So we take out our frustrations on the children. That's abuse of authority. There's a price we got to pay for that. I'll get to the price in a minute. When a Negro comes into an organization, he likes to know what are the positions of authority being offered in that organization. Because I don't want to be a foot soldier. I want to be the leader. I want to be the captain. I want to be the minister. I want to be the high potentate, the grand poobah. So when you come into organizations, it is the striving for titles that tear the organization up. Or when you get a title, you're so drunk now with the title you have. You know who I am? Do you know who I am? Yeah, we know a fool when we see one. Because when you get into an organization and rise into a position of authority and abuse that authority and misuse the people under your authority, you're setting yourself up for a chastisement from God. Now, with authority comes power. And power is the ability or the capacity to act or perform effectively. But some of us got power to act, but we're ineffective in our actions. Come on now, listen. Power is strength or force exerted to exercise control over others. Every mother, every father wants control of their children. But look, there's something in human nature. It started with Adam. I don't know what it is about humans that God loves us so much that he never makes us like the other creatures that obey in the nature of their creation. They cannot rebel. The sun can't rebel, the moon, the stars, the birds, the bees, the mountains. Everything is in submission to a law. But with the human being, God created the man and the woman in his image, and then he gives you the right to choose, but he gives you orders. Now, well, he's the authority. He has a right to give an order to somebody that he created. So he says to Adam, okay, Adam, you're here. Look at the garden. Look at all these trees. You didn't offer nothing. But you can eat of all these trees, but this one over here, don't bother with that. Because if you eat from that tree, you're going to get into some serious difficulty. Instead of Adam saying, okay, and start eating from all the trees that he had authority to eat from, he said, now what's wrong with that tree? That I can't eat from that tree, and that tree look nicer than some of them others. Children do this. We did it to our parents. Our parents give us instruction, and in our minds we think we're smarter. She don't know what she's talking about. I'm going to the party. She told me don't drink out the punch bowl. But I put the stuff in the punch bowl. You know I'm going to drink out that punch bowl. Or you come home drunk. Well, didn't I tell you not to drink? But yeah, but they tricked me. See, anytime you start disobeying instruction, you got to lie to cover or give a rationale for your wrong. Because you know mama got authority to inflict pain in order to establish control. The man knows he's in authority. There's something in your nature that's telling you when you marry a woman that you're in authority. But you just don't have the mind yet. You got the woman, you got the love, you know, you all ready for sexual activity and whatnot. Hell, the bed starts the drama. It don't end it, brother. The drama starts in the bed and ends in the court. What happened? It was so nice in the bed. Why is it so ugly in the court? That's because the bed can never sustain union. Sexual powers only last minutes, you know. But then there's the rest of the day where some serious work has to be done to unify male and female. Am I saying anything wrong here? Some sisters, bless your hearts, you're so pretty, you're so beautiful, and you want a man to admire you. That's nice. You don't want to cover yourself because, oh, I'll make myself ugly if I cover myself, because he won't see my hips, he won't see my bosom, he just won't see the thing that I know he likes. I often wonder, why is it that women always do this when they get dressed? I hardly ever see a man do that. He dresses, stand in the mirror. When you see a man, so sister, what you looking at? I know what you're looking at. You're looking to see how good it looks, whether he'll be looking at it and whistling or calling you out of your name, or, hey, baby, you sure is fine, mama. He don't know nothing about what's between your ears and don't care. So this kind of attracting power that you have, you can draw a man to you, but you can't keep him. You make him feel good for the moment, but you can't cook. In the old days, they used to say, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Now today, I ain't gonna tell you what's the way to his heart. You already know, you're showing him the way. But in the old days, every girl, no matter whether she's going to be a professional or not, she had to learn how to make a home. Because your happiness is not in the office, your happiness is at home. So when the female doesn't know how to make a home, she knows how to get one started. But you know, a woman will shut down on a man faster than Superman can get, or Clark Kent can get in that telephone booth and change into Superman. And he used to do it fast, brother. A woman will shut down on you if you can't supply or maintain her needs. So you might feel that you hellified in the bed. Pardon me for talking plain. But if you don't have a job, you don't have any means of bringing in income, you say, well, I ain't got no job, but I'm selling enough drugs, she ought to be happy. But selling drugs is not giving her security. You can bring some money home and give her a little cash and she can drive a little car, but she's wondering when the police coming to the door. She's wondering when somebody gonna shoot you down on the street and deprive her children of a father. So you think that being a father is just having money? You can't maintain a woman with money. You have to have money, all right. Now, don't think you don't have to have it. But you got to have a little bit more. You have to have intelligence to attract her mind and maintain her as a woman in love with you through how you handle her mind, and not maybe what rhymes. Oh, wow, how did I get it?